not gonna ramble and blah blah blah.
I always ramble. You're not going to be able to stop me from saying all the points I want to, even if I say them quickly.
That's fine.
No, I don't, man, but I'm about to record a live video to the internet. I can't really talk right now. Have a good day. All right. Hello. Hello, if it's working. Welcome to the
live.
Board Game channel. Yes, it's live, you dingbat.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Oh, I think the first word in the whole video is going to be dingbat because I called you a dingbat for saying that it's live. Okay, hello. Welcome to the Board Game channel of James Peterson. I am James Peterson, and this guy.
Travis Hunt.
Yes.
Yep.
Load his video feed, people. Please. Anyway, we meant to do this months ago, but like life stuff happened, and we are only now finally talking about the new ALKALOID album that came out in March called the Malkuth Grimoire. We both love it very, very much, and we are going to tell you why. I always
love
start.
Is the weakest word. I think.
What?
I said love is the weakest word.
How?
I just don't love it. I'm in love with it.
Oh. Well, you could say that about me too. I've only heard like 2 records that I like more than it this year so far. So, is your video working?
It's fine.
It's not showing up for me. Oh wait, there it goes. God, it just took a million light years to get to you.
This is gonna be a 10 out of 10 video.
Okay, yes. All right, so around Travis's face, I'm going to include right now some annotations when I can go back and edit this video containing links to us talking about each of the individual, well, depending on if I decide to count Dyson Sphere as one song or not. The 9 to 12 tracks, songs.
We're going to review it in parts, but it is one song.
Yes. Anyway, let's get started. The first song is called Masterpiece. I mean, Carbon Phrases.
Oh. I see what you did there. You did there.
Yeah, you do. So, how much do you have to say about Carbon Phrases? Because depending on that, I'll let you go first.
Well, it's the first song that I've heard by ALKALOID. And honestly, I remember where I was. I was at work, and I saw the Kickstarter, or Indiegogo, I think it was, that started. And I remember clicking play and hearing that like poppy intro, like the dun 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 dun. And I remember going, "What? This isn't Obscura." And then, yeah, it went on from there. And that was my initial thought of that song. Was the intro is different. It's poppy. Hannes even calls it poppy. Mm-hmm. And then
absolutely,
it catches your attention. It goes like, this isn't normal, but it's groovy. It goes along. and then what happens after that? It's just mind blowing. That chug. Oh. I don't know what you have to say about the intro or whatever.
Okay, I honestly kind of want to say the same thing, except that it was exactly what I was hoping for from the band, because in my case, I went into this band expecting it to have a extremely broad range of styles. And as I'll say later, what I actually think we wound up getting was more of the individual voices and songwriting styles of the 3 main composers on the album, which are Hannes, Christian, and Florian, more than we did, say, like there being a polka section here or like a tribally sounding section like here, because my brain's just hardwired to think like mix of genres. It automatically goes back to Colors by Between the Buried and Me. But no, what you get with the beginning of this song is Hannes's favorite musical artist. I feel like her influence on him really shows in the beginning. Like Hannes's favorite musician, from what I've gathered, is a woman named Tori Amos, who is a singer, a pop singer-songwriter, basically. But she's really goes deep into the emotion of her music and in that style. And I really hear that coming out in the beginning of this song. And it just develops and it slowly builds that tension up towards the different climactic points, like that first really chuggy, brutal groove that you said. And one of my favorite riffs on the album and from him in general is like the
yeah, that part's really cool.
Like the fucking bends in that and the note speed changes are insane.
I do like.
I headbanged like crazy when I first heard that, and
yeah, it's a punchy, like
exactly. That's a perfect word to describe
everything. it's very well mastered.
But it really reminds of what he was conveying on his solo album, on the Radio Covenant, the overall vibe of the song. And it's just so structurally brilliant, the way it's put together. That's my favorite thing about Hannes, I've realized, and what influences me the most is his arrangements of songs.
From what I heard, I think in the video of him talking about it, it took him a year to write that song, and it shows, because there is 3 guitar parts, and it is a very long song. And
yeah,
I think just that idea, it takes a year, and he just didn't like do it in pieces and then like come back to it 6 months. He probably actively did it for a good amount of time, and so that just shows.
It's one of my 2 favorite songs on the album. I absolutely agree, and I just want to point out one more really cool part from it, because there's so many good parts. Like there
really is. It's such a long song.
There has vortexy kind of riff, like the. But one of my absolute favorite points in the song is the second half of the first guitar solo. Like that progression is just so evil and dark and menacing. You know what I'm talking about? Like how Chris does a solo and then Danny does a solo, but the second half of Chris's solo is like completely different, and it becomes like 20 times more epic because of the minor chord progressions and stuff that are going on in there. It's like a really black metal-y progression, but he's doing like a shred guitar solo over it. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, the solos in that are really interesting in it. And like when you think about it, it shouldn't work, but it does. And I guess I get how. I don't know how he does it. I really don't, and I wish I did. But he does.
Anyway,
it well.
The next song is called "From a Hadron Machinist," and this song I actually knew about pretty early on in. Actually, I think it was sometime in the middle of 2014. I don't remember, but I remember Hannes posted a Facebook update saying, writing a new song for Obscura. It's kind of like a mix between Ivum and Septuagint. And I'm like, okay,
I remember that post.
I want to hear this now. And did you like know the moment that crowdfunding announcement like thing before they told everyone it was a crowdfunding? You heard that do-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee into the blast riff. I'm like, okay, this is that song. There's no way it's not. I knew it almost.
Wasn't talking about the one new Obscura song that we've heard? Imagine.
No, he was definitely talking about this because it has it starts off with an acoustic intro, which is akin to how the opening to Omnivium starts off, and it's got like a lot of dynamic contrast. Like, in fact, in the video where he talks about it, he says that that's what the whole song is sort of based on. Is based on contradiction between like extremes in volume and speed and stuff, because you got that one like slow section that breaks up the verse riffs before the chorus comes back in the first half of the song, and then you've got that really quiet, almost oceanic, like huge, just booming, like expansive, calmer section in the second half. I can't remember which part it is, but I remember like I wrote down at 2 minutes and 18 seconds, there's just like an holy shit moment. Oh yeah, it's like the riff that sounds like Obscura, like after the blast beat section. It's the one that goes. Oh, yeah. I felt like I'd been waiting up until that moment, even including the Radio Covenant, to hear like a really, really Obscura-y riff like that.
Yeah, that's what, you know, now that you mentioned that post that he did, I hear it now. And when I listen to the beginning of that song, even when they released it as like their teaser, I'm pretty sure that was their teaser, like their 14-minute second, and the tremolo part, the higher
That's what
tremolo
I'm
part. At the
saying.
beginning.
That's what I instantly
That
knew. That
yeah,
was the
that sounds like
the Ivamy Septuagint song. I'm like, this is it.
yeah.
There's no way it's
That's
not.
what I remember. And when I listened to the like full song, I was like, this is a lot like Obscura, but it just changes into Alkaloid, and it's just beautiful.
But that's exactly what Hannes wanted for Obscura, is
Right.
for them to really be a more progressive band that's willing to go in more directions than like, because to an extent, like Omnivium is kind of like one big song where they all sort of follow this fast string skippy kind of theme. And I saw Chris post on like the 7-string guitar forums or somewhere that they just don't want to play string skipping riffs all their lives because, you know, once you get good at it, it gets stale and it's not challenging. Or it's probably challenging to him to an extent because of his vocal dystonia. I don't know, but it's just they wanted to be more diverse in the way they approach their playing styles more than their genres. More than diversity in genre, I think, because they know how they write music and they just want to be able to express themselves without limits. And that's what's so cool about this fucking band. And I just went on a tangent and I don't even remember what I was trying to get to the point up there.
You go on a good point though. It's not really a tangent. It's expressing the whole like morality of this band. It's what they want. It's not Obscura. It's what they want.
Yeah,
Really,
and that's the thing about Obscura is I feel like all of Hannes's previous projects have like limited what he can express to an extent musically.
yeah,
I mean, Obscura was the first one where it really didn't like Cosmogenesis and Omnivium. He said multiple times that he had a lot of freedom to do what he wanted on those records, but he has even more to go wherever the fuck he wants in this band. And it's really cool. And it totally shows in these first 2 songs. They're just absolutely fucking amazing and absolute highlights of this record. Structurally brilliant, again, from a Hadron Machinist, like the first song, like where the themes come in and out and the symmetry of that, which is, like I said, one of my favorite aspects about his sound, just the suspense and build up to emotional and intensity driven climaxes in his music. It's absolute ear sex. And now we're going to get to the first Alkaloid song I ever heard, even before Metatheosis came out.
God.
I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, and Travis Hunt hates me for this. But Cthulhu was part of a little 4-song demo that Alkaloid had on this website that they did not lock before they thought, but it's open to the public. But it was just a promotional thing, and I wound up like Googling like Florian's name, and it took me to it, and there was this demo of this very Morbid Angel mixed with non-Euclid song called called Cthulhu, which is now the 3rd song on this album. And I gotta say, it's one of the weaker moments on the album for me. Because I heard it. What?
This is gonna be a very interesting review between you and I, because I think it's one of their better ones.
I know you do, but the thing with me is it's just like I kind of burn out on it since I've been listening to it for well over a year now, for one thing. And also, when I first heard it, it was just kind of hard to get into it. Maybe, and this is a dumb bias to have, it's because it was a demo production, so it didn't sound as massively ungodly heavy as it does on the album version, because they took a month to mix this freaking behemoth of a record, and it shows. But also because it feels like they've done that sort of slower, Morbid Angel-y song like twice before. Like Ocean Gateways was kind of like that. Right. And I loved that when it initially came out. Sorcerer felt like that, but not quite as strong when I first heard it, but now it's grown on me, because especially like some of the later riffs, like the groove riff during Danny's second solo on that song is just out of this world. But this just felt like another sort of step down. And it mostly doesn't sound like Morbid Angel. It mostly sounds straight up like Morian's style of songwriting, because he
yeah.
to hear most of the song from Hannes' singular opening riff that he sent him. But it doesn't sound like it would be one of the stronger non-Euclid tracks if it was a non-Euclid track for me. It just sort of the spacey, like, just not distorted guitar stuff happening with harsh vocals. Like, I like how they experiment with timbre in that way, but I feel like there's more room for success. Like what Neabla Viscaris does, they'll have like a violin solo happening while vocals are happening, or two completely different sets of lyrics with harsh and clean vocals going on at the same time. Like they experiment with like timbre combinations with the instrumentation in metal that aren't necessarily done before. And ALKALOID's trying to do that, but I feel like they have more room for success and getting better at it the more they do it. But yeah, Cthulhu is still a really good song. It's just like when you surround it with masterpieces like Carbon Phrases and Funeral for Continent in the title track, it just seems like one of the weaker ones. It's still an amazing song. But one of the things I really want to say about like the version of it that obviously appeared on the album, which is really the only one that matters, is it was different from the demo version for me, because like the demo version didn't have this amazing drum transition back into the main riff after the guitar solo at the end from Morian. Like Hannes builds that intensity on his drum playing so well that once it gets to the main riff in the chorus at the end of the song with those super crazy leads. I love those leads, like the Morian's
the
weird
harmonic tapping that he does.
It's so fucking awesome.
So
yeah, the end of this song, if I have anything positive to say, like, I mean, I have a lot of positive things to say. It sums up, like, it's a good song. It's just brought down because it's surrounded by songs that I think are godly in comparison to it. But the ending of this song kicks ultimate ass.
Well,
now you can fanboy the song all you want.
Yeah, well, I don't want to restart the review, but I have to say some things about it. In my opinion, I think the intro was probably one of the cooler intros I've heard. And I think it's because I built it up. And that's because they announced that, like, oh, a new song will be released, blah, blah, blah. And then I was waiting. And then all of a sudden the song's released. And I click play. And it does that harmonic, those, like, I don't know what harmonics they are. I'm pretty sure they're just like weird pinch harmonics. And then it goes into like that really, really dark, chuggy intro that Hannes wrote.
Wait, I thought, what do you mean it starts off with harmonics? I thought it just goes straight.
No, it does that weird effect where it like.
Oh, you mean the Gojira slide kind of thing?
Yeah, the slide. Yeah, whatever. It does that, and then it goes into that really dark, chuggy lead.
Wait,
and I literally.
Damn it, Travis. Okay.
Okay, can I finish?
For anyone watching, I tried to find a quiet place on campus to do this because I'm getting the internet fixed at my apartment. And this is relatively quiet until that happened, so no big deal. Yes, you can finish, Travis.
So I was about to say,
who the fuck is gonna watch this entire video even?
I don't. Me. I might. Yeah, that intro made me say out loud, holy shit. Like, it was weird. Like, I remember playing it and I was like, holy shit. Just like, god damn.
It made me say, oh, another slow, honest kind of riff. What really interested me on this album is where he like started doing things that were, you know, different, like his Tori Amos influence really coming through, or, you know, in a way, like how Rush has inspired him coming through, but in his own compositional voice on a song like Funeral for a Continent. I was just like, oh my God, this sounds so good and different, but like Hannes, so it sounds like amazing.
It sounds like Hannes. So
We've been
different,
talking too much about like the Hans Groby man and not enough about other dudes who write and are on this album.
Well,
So
Maureen and Hannes have only contributed to these last 3 songs.
Nope.
So
yeah, exactly. So do you want anything
to the others
about Cthulhu? Because you like it so much before we talk about Alter Magnitude.
What else do I like about it? I really like. I like how like indistinguishable the guitar parts are because they're so well layered. Like right after the chuggy part, it goes into that like spacey harmonic tapping.
Yeah.
And just like this simple guitar part, and it's not anything like mind blowing, but it's so well put together, and like I don't know, I just adore it. Like if I could write that kind of stuff, it would just make me so happy.
It's totally different. Yeah, for sure. It totally gives off a different atmosphere to any other metal song that I think I've honestly ever heard. Like that sort of just spacey, like, and like the sort of hollow, empty chords, just like it's like
that's
bell
what
or something, you know.
Yeah, that's what I think of it. It's like it's spacey and you can't really make out what the guitar is, but you don't want to because it's like just well layered, and it's just
I feel you.
You just kind of like think of like Cthulhu coming out of like the deep and taking over or something like that.
And that's what Flo wanted, so I guess mission accomplished for him.
Yep.
Anyway,
he did exactly that. So moving on.
Next song is called Alter Magnitudes, and it, along with the 2 songs written by the drummer, also had lyrics written by him. And I think out of all of these, it has his coolest set of lyrics because it's about like if this brain or this machine made of magnets attached to your brain and like activated magnets in certain sections to make you not be religious anymore, because it's been scientifically proven that magnetic sections of certain parts of your brain are like associated with religious feelings or spiritual experiences or whatever. So that's just really cool.
There's a lyric snippet. It says, "A cell's invoking space inside your brain. Magnets reprogram your phase," and it's just kind of like that's Hannes.
Yeah, but
that's what I think. But it's really well written. Like all his lyrics are just. It's like
I don't know. Like I feel like this is the only like super strong set of lyrics from him on the album. Like because Carbon Phrases is really cool, but it's sort of like I feel like it's about him in a way, even though it's probably not. Like, but it's like about an artist and the creative process, but also on a metaphorical other side, it's about like the human race and how we're all made of carbon phrases in our DNA and shit. And then like from a Hadron Machinist, I'm not sure exactly what it's about or how it fits in the Malkuth Grimoire concept, but it makes sense when you read it how like the lyrics mirror like the contradiction between the musical extremes that are going on within the song as well. But this song just like it has such a fucking cool concept, and the whole like that he chose for it lyrically, and the whole album, The Radio Covenant, was like that. Not just like one song. It was just like, holy fucking shit, that's cool. It was about like this cult worshiping this like fucking space Cthulhu god called Aeon and shit. And it's just like, I feel like maybe his lyrics are really well suited for like a really cool out there concept. But like that's the point of this band. So we're probably going to get more of that if Maureen lets him write more lyrics in the future. Anyway, music. God,
I'm sure he will.
That can be our talking about the lyrics section for this whole album review. Anyway, about Magnitudes. Like, if you'd have shown this to anyone in 2011 or 2012 without vocals, like on the drum playthrough video, everyone would be like, holy shit, New Obscure! Holy shit, New Obscure sounds so good! It sounds like Omnivium on crack! because that's exactly what this sounds like. It sounds like another one of like Christian songs, like Universe Momentum, but like on drugs, even more melodious with all these like secondary dominant chords to just make all these like really Bach-like or Handel-like resolutions happening all the time. And it's just like, holy fucking shit, this is like super melody-ish. The melodies move so fast though, and this is one of my only tiny gripes with it. The melodies move so fast that you don't get time to appreciate some of the more lush seventh chords that are being used. Like, there are major seventh chords in one part, but it's just used as like one of the notes is used as a like a slight chromatic motion of a melody slowly moving upwards, more than it is actually for like you to hear the lush serenity of the chord, because nothing is held out in this song. It's all just like the blistering and constant.
It's too quick. I think like
but I like its too quickness. I mean, it kind of sucks that you can't like absorb in some of the chords that wind up being outlined in this song that are served really well from being held out. But at the same time, most of it works. I love like blistering fast melody to where the point, like all of the notes don't really sound like a melody, but when you look at it and you break it down, like the humongous amount of notes have a smaller, simpler melody in them. Like if you go into like music theory deep enough, there's this thing called Schenkerian analysis that shows even the crazy fastest like tonal music, melodic music, has a simpler like backbone, like framework structure upon all of which is built. That's generally a very simple melody. And I've always felt like Obscura and Hannes's music and Christian's music is extraordinary at this, and that's one of the strongest aspects about this song and the band in general. And the guitar solo really just it takes you think the song can't even get any better at this, and then the guitar solo and the tapping section happens, and it's like, what the fuck, those chords.
Christian is super proud of that part. I remember him saying like that's one of his like favorite solos or something like that, and I think it does show. Like, I mean, it's not my favorite solo that he has done.
The tapping part is my favorite part of the song. The part after the solo, I think, is the climax, really.
Yep, I do agree there. I think the tapping part is better than the solo, but I mean, they're so really good.
There's some really good what?
I said they're both just really good.
I agree. I think one of the coolest things about this the way the song is structured, though, is it kind of reminds me of what I tried to do for one of my songs for my solo project. It sort of gets the verse chorus thing out of the way really fast at the beginning, and then it goes straight into like just doing other stuff, like that huge solo section, that elongated tapping section, and then it goes back into it. So the meat of the song is actually the not verse chorusy parts. You know, and I thought that was really cool. And you said, I think at one point, that you don't like the chorus, right? Like you think it's kind of simple. I like it. It's a beautiful, simple chord progression that's super melodious, and I think
the chorus, like, as in like
open your mind. That part.
Well, I was gonna say that's like one of the parts I really like, and that's because mainly the Indiegogo's like what was it, sample teaser. I remember listening to just that part and going, that song's gonna be amazing. So it grew on me.
I avoided listening to that part because obviously I'd heard Funeral for a Continent and House of Life and Sea Value Enigma and Cthulhu already, and I'm like, okay, I cannot listen to any more of this.
Get the hell out of here. But anyways, I remember listening to that over and over and over again. Then when I finally heard the song, like you said, it is really quick, and it's not like, I wish that was like tripled. Like they played that 3 times in a row. I would be perfectly fine with that. Or they like,
if the song was just the chorus 3 times in a row, I would.
Like if they expanded upon that chorus those chords, those what, four chords or something, I think I would enjoy it more because it is very, very emotional and pretty. And yeah, it
Dude,
just
I
goes into
think
the.
what he should have. Is there a major seventh chord in that chorus? Because if there is, then like negate anything I said earlier about like there being an arpeggiated major seventh chord in like the tapping section or like in one of the riffs or whatever, because that is like fucking awesome. And this song is just, it's one of the highlights of the record all around. It's like fucking 10 out of 10, honestly. So like, so far, I'd say that the best songs on the album out of the ones we've talked about are Carbon Phrases and this one, Alter Magnitudes, because they're just masterpieces. And now let's go ahead and knock out of the way the song I wound up listening to last on the record, because I'm weird. I always listen to records out of order because it's like an OCD compulsion. And also the one that I still can't get past one gripe about, but still like think is an awesome song and gets better as it goes on, like most songs that I think are perfectly well written, like get better as they get closer towards the end of the song, just better and better and better. And this song certainly does that. Organism is my least favorite song on the album because one of the huge reasons, I just don't think Maureen's style of harsh singing fits over the clean and acoustic guitars and the gorgeous melodies they're playing at the beginning. It's one of the, it sucks for me because it's like one of the most beautiful,
It really is.
clean things that Hannes has ever written. And like Maureen does these amazing clean vocals that don't have any of his signature grit in his singing style, which I love, by the way. I just don't think it fits for this part. But maybe Hannes wanted that. Maybe he wanted that. And if that's the case, and this is exactly how it's supposed to sound, which it is because they released it this way, then fine. But this is just, my opinion. This is an album review. Anyway,
Okay,
but I just
so
think
I'm gonna.
the kind of clean vocals that don't have that grit, where they're just like, like that would have done so well if Maureen had sung the beginning like that. But
So
the
you
song
probably.
gets heavier and heavier and heavier and just gets brutal and awesome by the time it gets to the end. It's like got limitlessly catchy moments. Even in that beginning, it's just the melodies he's singing are catchy. I just don't like the timbre combination. Alkaloid's really clearly experimenting with what timbres they can combine in metal, and Florian has always been doing that with everything he writes, especially in his contemporary classical compositions, like combinations of different unique instruments and stuff. But it's so catchy. Everything in this song is catchy, as a death metal ballad should be.
Yeah.
So it works and it grows on you, What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, well, the first thing I was gonna say was your comment about his vocal style.
I love that vocal style. I just do not think it fits for that part.
I really cannot imagine that song without it, and each time I listen to it, I adore it. It's weird. It's like I know what you're saying, but I would never, ever, ever, ever want it to leave or change. But I do like the clean singing. He kind of like yells it at the end. I don't know if you know what I mean, but like the one time he clean sings, it's really, really cool. Yeah. I think
that part was what the whole thing sounded like. Exactly like that. Oh my god.
There's a reason that part alone is like that, and the rest of it is
that totally makes
that
sense.
weird like throat singing. And I don't know, for me it's like a good it's different, and I don't like it because it's different, but I do like it because it fits really, really well somehow. I don't know how it does.
And the thing is, I understand how it fits. I just think that the vocal style that he does in the secreting pulses nectar of the gods line, if that was during all the sung lines on it, would fit so much better that even though the harsh singing fits too, in comparison to how much I wish it was recorded that way, it doesn't fit for me. It's like, James, we're the dudes in Alkaloid and we can do whatever we want. Like, of course you can. This is just how I feel. Like, Hannes Senpai, I love you, but I can't like every single thing you do because then I wouldn't be seriously being objective with myself. And he knows that. Anyway,
Oh boy.
oh, I love the spoken word part towards the end of this song too, because it's like it really reminds me of that killer opening to the title track of the new Dark Fortress album. What he recites during that to kickstart the whole thing, it's fucking amazing. Oh! I remember the real reason why I'm disappointed by this song. The real reason, it's like Cthulhu. Like, when I first heard it, I was maybe expecting something a little bit different. I don't know. And not another song that starts off with a, like, slow kind of death metal riff. Not that there's anything wrong with slow kind of death metal riffs. But it was because I learned so much about this album and all the songs. Carbon Phrases, like, I knew because it was the song that they released. And that didn't sound like Imaginative Soul. And then from Hadron Messias, at some point I deduced that that is going to be the Iva mixed with Septuagint kind of song. Ultra Magnitudes I knew was the really fast Christian kind of song. Cthulhu I'd already heard. Dyson Sphere I knew wasn't going to be it because I'll get into that, but I saw it more in... I don't remember how to pronounce CV spelled out, but it was on his composer CV, and so was Cthulhu, honestly. So I knew it wasn't going to be those. I thought it might be the title track, but then they released it and it wasn't. Or no, they released the... Oh my god. The chorus riff to the title track is better than Cthulhu. It's better. It's better slow, heavy death metal than Cthulhu.
I don't know. I don't know.
You're a poser. Anyway, and I knew it wasn't Funeral for a Continent because I heard it. So that really leaves nothing left except Organism. I thought Organism was going to be that track that Hannes played live that he wrote for Obscura way back at the end of some year, like 2012 or 13 or something. I thought it was going to be that, and then it wasn't. And it was just like, God, I was looking so forward to hearing that in a studio recorded version. And then hearing this song that I didn't dig as well and didn't click with me right away was just like, and having it be the last song that I heard from the album because I'm weird and I listen to things out of order. That's really the real reason why it still never has clicked with me. It's purely fucking like sentimental, stupid bullshit reasons. And I will openly admit that. But thankfully, Imaginative Soul, giving a song a name before you write the lyrics, you fucking asshole. Anyway, that wasn't to Hannes. It should be blatantly obvious who that was to. Anyway, but that's... Hannes told me that that's going to be on the next album, and they might even make it the single, so get hype. Anyway.
On the next Alkaloid or his solo album?
Yeah, no, on the next Alkaloid.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's written for 3 guitars, so it really works as an Alkaloid song. And when Obscura played it, they were only like Stefan and Christian was playing it. God, we're such dorks for this whole set of bands. Like, in case you couldn't tell that from like seeing this like now. Anyway, all right. So, do you want to start off talking about Dyson Sphere?
Yes.
Dyson Queer.
Holy
vacuum
shit.
cleaner.
Holy shit, Dyson Spheres. Just like holy shit. When I first heard the song, it starts out with that like, what does it say? Hold on.
The robot singing.
You're so cool. He ain't here. Let's build a
pray
Dyson.
for God, but he ain't here. Better to build a Dyson Sphere. And it says that in that like weird chant and like clap.
No, it's
And
like
I
the
was
robots
like-
that are building the Dyson Sphere saying that, I think, is what he was trying to get across.
In my head, it's like the like dwarves like carrying stuff. I don't know. That's obviously not what it is, but I think it's just like just workers or something, you know. It's obvious.
You know, they're
It's
robot
but-
workers, remember?
Yeah,
Didn't you?
I know they're robot workers, but it just in my head, that's what I imagine. And then it goes into this like it's really weird how I think of the song. I think of it, it's like that, and then like the beginning like chords sound like some kind of like stadium or spaceship like turning on.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean? Like the headlights.
I
turning
do
on.
get what you mean, but I really want to really quickly jut in and say
All right.
that when I heard that in the opening part, because they made videos on their Facebook page about every song,
Right.
just
Yeah.
talking about it briefly. They opened with the opening riff to the first part of Dyson Sphere and the whole 4-movement, 15-minute Dyson Sphere piece in general, like that. I'm like, oh my god, this sounds so much like Buried Forever and the stuff that I love from Mori, and that riff only happens in that form once in those entire 15 minutes. And I love this piece. It's like almost a fucking perfect 10 masterpiece of a song.
That riff actually comes up many times. It's just really,
it's different, and it doesn't sound exactly like.
It's not exact, but it does come up. It comes
I
up. I
wanted it to come back like that though, because that's what I love about the way Hannes puts together his songs. I mean, this song like is brilliant with how it varies the themes, like the theme and variation classical style of composing, and that's totally the classical influence that is brought into it, and it's so good at that. But at the same time, I just wanted to hear that ding, 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 ding when I got 7 minutes, like halfway through this epic masterpiece. Just hear it again. I think it would work well instead of like the noise that's used between part 2 and 3. Like that could have been put in there, but he was like super fucking specific about what part goes where, so that he would. You know, did I show you the videos? Like,
no, I watched them. I watched
like those like
and it
freaking
blew my mind.
that pie chart of like this riff has to fit in this specific time frame, and it.
Yeah, in
a way it works. It's like some
in a circle.
Yeah, it's like some phi ratio shit, but not. It's like it subconsciously like really works, and it's one of those songs like Hannes's music or like whatever. You notice something new, or like really well written classic prog rock, like Jethro Tull. You notice something new every time you listen to it. Like, that's that theme, but it's different. Even though you watch the video and could know exactly where all of them are, just when you have to kind of just listen to it and learn it that way. It's really cool. But anyway, I just want to quickly go through all the 4, because it's written in 4 movements. I just want to quickly say something about all of them, and then you can if you want to. Dude, the vocals in part 1, like that are used in the Ort Cloud is fantastic, and then it comes back in the guitars so many times. That's so fucking catchy, and it's followed by like this weird guitar shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. I could play. I've spent hours and hours like trying to tab just the first part, and it's so. I pretty much have it done, but it's so good, cool. It's just cool.
Dude, did you tab out the and then the weird?
It's not gonna be right, of course, but I gave it my best. But I just want to, just say that part is.
Yeah. Also, the Dyson Sphere videos say something about how Hannes's drums like speed up very slowly in that opening the riff, the do 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 do, and I can barely hear that.
Whole thing.
No, the guitars stay the same and the drums speed up. I remember that.
Yeah, there's 2 tempos. There's one for like the main, like it has to be, a tempo, and then there's another one that speeds up over time. But
I don't hear the drums doing that.
You don't.
Barely.
Yeah, you're not supposed to, and because it's so slow.
Okay, Travis.
Sorry, but it's really just like kind of. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just really confusing. I've never heard of 2 tempos in a song
It's
before.
to give
And
off
I don't even know how
this
to
vibe
tab
that
that.
Hannes told
How do you
me
do
once.
that?
I think it's to give off this vibe that Hannes told me one time. Like with like Slayer songs, you play a little ahead of the beat to give it that intensity, that urgency, that kind of sound. And with like slower, morbid, angel-y like kind of grooves, like in Ocean Gateways, you play a little behind the beat to just give it that groove, you know.
I guess, but this
So I
one
guess
takes it
that's
to
why
like
the
a.
drums are speeding up to an extent.
It
I
is.
mean, it's not for like having a lyrical connection, which obviously it does. It's Florian we're talking about here, but also to give that musical vibe. Oh my god! When I first read about this song, though, on like Florian's composer website, and it said
2013.
death metal, and it said death metal reggae, I was like, fuck. And then, like, dude, to hear about how when this finally comes up and hear him say in an interview, like, yeah, there was sort of like a reggae festival going on outside my house. I'm like, okay, and it inspired me to write this, and it's just like. Those transitions are so cool. Oh my god. That contrast between that's what I wanted. That's what I was expecting.
Give me like 30
I knew this was gonna end, but it's okay. I will keep talking while Travis can rest. The cool thing about this is like this is kind of what I was expecting from this album, for there to be this like extreme contrast, like genres blended into it, like reggae grooves in the music mixed with death metal, and it actually works, and it sounds like a cohesive unit. It's so cool. Travis,
Yeah, we can't do it. I'm sorry.
you had to go, don't you?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Sorry about that.
I don't know
everyone.
what you just said.
It's
but-
okay. I was just talking about like the death metal mixed with reggae. Those two genres combining
yeah.
into the second part of the song, which I think the second part of the song is honestly my favorite. I've been hyping up hearing that ever since, and finally hearing that in the assembly movement of Dyson Sphere was just so fucking cool. But then like movement 3 is just like this big fucking accelerando in metal with the tempo constantly going up. I mean, with a band setting with a
Third
drummer,
movement?
huh?
Which movement?
Movement 3
talking about?
it gets faster and faster.
Oh, okay. I was lost. Sorry.
And it's accelerando in metal, which is hard as fuck to achieve because like generally like with classical music you have a conductor, and like the ensemble's always going to be behind you if you're conducting because they have to have time to react to your hand movements. But you can like move them at whatever speed you want and change the speed. But with
and he's really good at that.
metal, it's
Wonder
like
why?
kind of drum set music. I mean, no disrespect to any drummers, especially not Hannes, but it's generally the music is played at a set tempo. And so in this, like, it's not really a classical accelerando where it's constantly increasing, but it does it in increments. And so it goes from like slow and to these clean guitar chords to like crazy fast intensity with like just Chris and Danny or whatever. The guitar is just going, just playing
They
this
played this live.
super
I'm
fast.
so happy.
Yeah, in Egypt and Ireland. I mean, I'm not like complaining, like, come to the U.S.
They're gonna
Come
have
to my
it.
Waffle House and like let me give you some Waffle House, and then we'll go and do the show, and I'll be there and I'll watch you play Dyson Sphere in Georgia or whatever the fuck. Because like it's unrealistic. They're building this band from scratch, and I mean it worked once. The whole there's members from Necrophagus get hype, new album. It's kind of like new Necrophagist, but like especially now that they're not signed to a label and not getting label support, they have to do everything themselves. And I'm sure they're okay with that because they just want musical compositional freedom, which is fantastic. I just hope that someday, even if they only land like one gig in, say, New York, in some random ass venue, I will fucking go the hell up there and see that.
I don't think that'll ever happen because it takes way too much money to even do that for a day. To get to the United States, they have to, pay, and then they have to travel, and then they have to get money, and that's
why
they have to do a whole
meant to
tour.
message Linus this, but that's why I was like, yo, if you guys get a little more well known, like if you build your brand to a point, you could totally try the crowdfunding a tour thing, like Navel of Scaris did. It worked so well. You guys are respected.
Did they even come to the United States?
People will. I mean, Navel of Scaris almost did come to the United States. I just can't give you the details of that.
But it's probably the same reason why ALKALOID can't. It's probably because the United States is a little bit different to get to.
No, it's not that. It has to do with like Neo needed some more people on the bus than the tour was allowing them. It was an utter bullshit reason. Neo almost toured the U.S. Anyway, that's enough about that, though, because the last movement has the greatest lyric in all of metal. Let's get the fuck out of here.
How he screams that is just perfect.
No,
It's
but
like-
what... yeah. But the final movement basically does what the final movement of any piece should, and it does it for Dyson Sphere. It's super intense after the Accelerando building up to that climax, and it ties together, all the different main themes that are presented and done variations on throughout the 15 minutes in different ways, and it just... that last riff, when it comes back, it's just so gigantic. It's everything about what I love about how Florian composes for non-Euclid. This piece, honestly, kind of like how Carbon Phrases sounds like it could have been on the Radio Covenant. This piece really sounds like a non-Euclid song, and I feel like it would have been a non-Euclid song released 10 years from now or some crazy shit, because it takes forever for him to do. I think that's part of the reason why he joined this band, is because like this band is actually going to put out music regularly, and non-Euclid has just never been able to do that,
Well, don't they have another album? But
yeah, it's done. It's just non-Euclid have another album. It's just the orchestra had like 2 days to rehearse their lines, and they fucked it up. So he has to do a fuck ton of editing in Pro Tools, which will take forever.
Yeah, that's why he hasn't released the video.
It's basically like the Winter Sun situation, but not like the Winter Sun situation at all, because it's basically stuff that takes a long time in digital audio workstations is the reason why that album is not out yet.
And he's a very busy person.
Exactly. Yeah. But
mountain climbing all the time.
Dude, no, that was like, I think that was his only vacation in a really long time.
I was kidding.
Anyway, God, we are like really rambly. I wasn't expecting this. That is why, if you are looking at the title, I decided to name this album discussion instead of album review, because it's just two dudes talking about an album, really, which is what I've wanted for this channel really to begin with ever since I started reviewing with Andy. I wanted it to be more of a kind of just sort of free-flowing kind of podcast feel. If people are interested in sitting down and having a look at the discussions between two gigantic fanboys of the projects of Hannes Grossman, etc.,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
But bro, you didn't say nothing about Dyson Sphere. Say something about Dyson Sphere, you bitch.
Me? Do
Yes.
I need to say something?
You.
Oh. What did we cover? We covered that it's...
I talked about all four movements and what I
Right.
liked about them. Like, tell about what stands out about it to you.
I think
We talked about the first movement. Talk about the other three.
the other three. Well, I like the first movement the best. Aw.
That's what Brandon says. The second movement is Master Race. Although that's where it gets kind of silly, because the song works so well as a whole and as 4 separate songs at the same time, which is crazy. That's what's so cool about it, really.
I will say that the second song was probably stuck in my head. Like one part
The
of it was
most.
stuck in my head for probably 4 months straight. Like it was weird. Like it was just always in my head.
That's
And
why
I
it's my
listened-
favorite. It's because it's incessantly catchy and it makes you want to replay it like constantly. Anyway, but the end of the album is definitely my favorite section, the last 3 tracks, because the title track is fucking perfect straight death metal from this band. Like, because I mean, it's really what I wanted to hear as far as them approaching just a heavier, less, proggy or melody oriented side ever since I heard Ocean Gateways, which was like the slower, sludgier kind of Fatal's Forming to the Flesh or Domination or Gateways to Annihilation kind of morbid angel-y sound. But then like the Sorcerer kind of did that in a way, and then like Cthulhu kind of did that mixed with Non-Euclid. But this is like faster. It's like some fucking Cannibal Corpse shit. Hannes even said that himself. He's like, this sounds really more like Cannibal Corpse than Obscura, and it was gonna be an Obscura song, and that's kind of why it didn't fit. But dude, it's just, in a way, it's because it sort of sounds like the kind of death metal that Chris, Hannes, and Florian all like. It sounds the most like if all 3 of them really collaborated on a song together, which is what I really wanted to hear on this album, but really didn't get, because the way that the diversity that they express is really attained on this record, in my opinion. I mean, like, you got songs like Assembly from Dyson Sphere, which have the death metal mixed with the reggae, but most of it doesn't have like genre diversity and like influences like folk or like elevator music, or I don't know, which is like what my mind instantly jumped to, because I'm a fucking like brainwashed Between the Buried and Me fanboy too, but it really sounds like that this song could have been written by all of them, which is what I want to be able to hear in the future, and what Hannes wants. He said I wish I could write a song with Morian 50-50 for some of our future stuff. I'm like, yes, please. But it sounds like that. It's got great fucking fast brutal riffs, and the slow brutal riff is like the best slow brutal sludgy heavy related riff that has come out of any Obscura or Hannes or Chris related project ever. It's just like those bends and that. It's, oh my god. Oh my god. And that pinch harmonic after the crazy run, that riff is just fucking 10 out of 10.
That is really cool. I'm so happy to have a actual tab of that so I could play it.
Well, yeah. Perks for contributing to the crowdfund, bruh. Anyway, but yeah. I also really like how because one of the only other examples I can think of where this happens is in Nail of Scars and Battle Against Time by Winter Sun. But towards the end, Chris's guitar solo overlaps with Morian's vocal line before the main riff kicks back in. And then Morian does a little solo that it just so fucking trippy. I wish he soloed more on this album, even though that, Danny and Chris obviously have more technical facility, but Morian is one of my favorite guitar players ever because of just his approach to creating sounds with it. And his lead style is just out of this fucking world, and it works perfectly to transition, and it becomes more computery at the end and trippy with harmonics until it transitions perfectly into C Value Enigma. I love that. I love the end of this song.
Yeah,
Or
I
you're
did
gonna-
note. I did note that the end of this song is probably one of the cooler parts of the song. That's one of my favorite parts. Is the end of it.
Oh, I
But
agree,
what you
100%.
said about Maureen's approach to everything is just so unique and pretty, and especially his guitar playing. It's so I've never heard anybody play guitar
There was
like
a
that,
significant chunk of, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
especially in velocity or or C value, which is not him playing, but it could be. I don't freaking know. Or the Cthulhu stuff, everything he has done on guitar. It's just so different, and it's always just like that's impossible. He can't. No one can play that. And
You know,
maybe he can't.
totally.
Maybe he can't. But just that thought is just so special. But
Bro, I don't know if you heard that. We literally have to cram the rest of this review in like 10 minutes.
Yep.
Okay,
We should.
so let's do it. But now I can't think. It, like I said, it transitions perfectly into the next song, which is called C Value Enigma. And it was actually initially named on that demo that was on the original version of their website, Tab to Transient, which is the name of the Pro Tools button, which Maureen used to get the audio peaks of him playing each individual note to play Note Lego with it and make the crazy fast shit like that is like impossible. But I actually fell in love with Maureen's music and Maureen's everything about his approach to music, everything you just said, because of that velocity solo. That's how I found out like he even existed. Like, I didn't know him as like the vocalist of Dark Fortress at first. I found out about his stuff from that and from Hannes and the rest of Obscura and Chris and whatever, like having him play that solo on Omnivium, and it just spiraled from there. And I love that solo. That solo is one of my favorites of all time. And I would even say for a huge chunk of time, I was calling Maureen probably my favorite guitar player because of just his approach to doing stuff like this. It's so fast that it can't be really considered melodic by like tonal standards, but it's just the soundscape and the vibe that gives off this computerized shredding sound, just this timbre that hasn't been achieved before we had this technology to do it. And it's just so structured, the way it flows and the way the intensity levels oscillate throughout. It's just such a cool little track. It's definitely it's really one of my favorite moments on the record. Like, I'm practically saying that everything besides, Organism and Cthulhu, and to a much lesser extent, From a Hadron Machinist, are my favorite moments of the record. But that's because they are. This is a fucking godlike record.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite song of this record because I can't decide. You'll be
Yeah,
like, well, Cthulhu today.
Anyway, say something really quick about that because we gotta hurry up. We need to review Funeral for Condon.
Right, so my only thoughts of C value. So my only thoughts of C value is that I just think it's it's cool, but it shouldn't be on the album. And I say that lightly, but
I think it works perfectly as a interlude.
I'm so happy it exists, but I don't know. I think, in my opinion, I normally when I listen to it, I swap C value for House of Life. But
yeah, because you wanted another song, and dude, let's just make a separate video besides this one to talk about House of Life because we really don't have time.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to the next song because C values, take it or leave it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Funeral for a Continent is an absolute fucking masterpiece. It would be my favorite song of this whole year if it weren't for just a couple more albums and less than a handful of songs that have just blown my mind this year that I hope to talk about with Travis in a couple of other videos. Stuff by the Bandits, Irreversible Mechanism, and Wilderun, Wilderu.
Oh, yeah. If we don't review those, I'll be very disappointed.
Yeah. Anyway, but this piece has a much more linear structure, than some of the other songs on the album. It has a couple riffs that come back all the time, like main riffs. So it's not really nothing repeats. But that way that it's structured like that makes it take longer to absorb. and it makes you want to listen to it more and more and get
really have to.
continued enjoyment out of it. And I love that about this song. That main riff, though, that I mentioned really sounds a lot super similar to the chorus riff from the title track of the Radio Covenant. But, I mean, that's just a thing. It just kind of does. I mean, can't help but sort of almost repeat yourself as a composer sometimes, I guess. I mean, I have some riffs that are in different songs of mine that sound kind of the same. It's just like, whatever. But
yeah, I never see that as a bad thing. It's
yeah, go ahead and say what you want to about this song really quick.
I don't really have much to say, even though I wrote a lot about it. Well, first of all, it's very linear. It's like you listen to it.
I already said that. Say that I haven't said, you fag.
Well, fuck you. From start to last, from start to finish, you just want to listen to it again and again. And it's almost like reading a book. And you can read it like a book because there's lyrics.
Oh my God, did you just say that?
It was a half joke. Shut up.
Shut up.
But yeah, I can't go into much detail about it, even though I just listened to it.
The groove riffs are out of this world. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
you could go 30 minutes.
Has come out so much on the Radio Covenant and this songwriting. Like, what the fuck? It's just, oh my God. And the melodies and the clean vocals, like the really, really clean vocals with a lot of reverb and just like this angelic singing from Florian. It's just, oh my God, so beautiful. And I feel like the whole song kind of builds up to the middle with the blast beat tremolo with heavy chords section in the middle. And then it winds down to the end with the acoustic guitar and that sort of folk kind of inspired melody. That's one of the few like things I caught. Like it, that's kind of a little bit of a different sort of genre influence coming into this. Like
That part.
I don't think we're gonna have time for an album as a whole section with this video, so it's just like us talking about all the songs and like how awesome they are.
All right, for the last,
this is easily one of the best songs that Hannes has written. Everyone nails it in the performances on this album. The production is fucking exquisite. It's so heavy and so layered and so natural sounding, but not like under compressed to where anything is buried except for the bass. Like I paid $80 for the bass guitar track to Funeral for a Continent and for a bass strap, and I cannot hear the intricacies of the bass line on that at all. I mean, I get if you're gonna like complain and be an asshole and be like, okay, the bass has to be mixed this way in metal because nobody can hear it. That's one thing, but it like if you're gonna compose something, I feel like every last note should be audible in the mix. And you can't hear what the bass is doing on Funeral, the fretted bass is doing on Funeral for a Continent at all.
That shows up a lot in this whole album. It's kind of the bass is just kind of like pushed to the side, and I mean.
But also, I feel like they kind of wanted to have some things be a little more buried. They said they sort of threw in those audio secrets that you got to really listen for that they did on like classic records. I remember Danny saying that. And I haven't mentioned Danny or Linus much in this whole record, but God damn, they nail all of the lines that they play. Just really, just wow. They don't even need that to be said about them because every single member of this band is just an amazing player. And I think we got to wrap it up here. I'm going to give this album a 9.5 out of 10. Almost all of the songs on it are perfect masterpieces. I mean, Obscura and the Hannes Grossman solo project, I would say, are my favorite death metal things ever. I mean, I would say Opeth, but you can't. I don't really think you can call what Michael Akerfeld ever created death metal. And that's a good thing because it's so different. But yeah, so 9.5 out of 10. Just Cthulhu and Organism aren't perfect masterpieces. That's the only reason why. Everything else basically is. What about you, man? What would you give
All
this?
right. So I'm gonna rate it as like a school teacher would rate a test, and
Okay.
10 out of 10, perfect. Like
Okay, so like collectively, it's a 9.75 out of 10, which is about
So-
what I gave the Radio Covenant when I reviewed that. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, we have to wrap this up. Thank you, Travis, for joining me in this long-winded fanboy discussion about ALKALOID.
that's for sure what it was.
All right, looking forward to it the next time with you, buddy. See you guys.
See everybody later.
Bye.
Yeah.